It's our favorite part show. It's our favorite part show. We love salami flowers. Grandpa Joe.
What is
That's
that?
some salami slapping around.
What was that, Andy?
That was literally salami being assembled into a flower.
Hi, I'm Liam. Welcome to the Off Air Podcast. Ben is here.
Hello there.
We do have Belle,
Hello.
producer Andy.
Present.
Can we just all can we listen to that intro again? Because obviously we
No.
like to update it to things that we like and that we're talking about in sort of that week or whatever.
Yep.
But he really hits the note really well.
He
Most of the
does.
time,
Flowers.
most of the time, you can't really tell what's being said until Andy tells you
But
what's
that
been
was
said.
really
That was
good.
very audible.
It's our favorite part show. It's our favorite part show. We love salami flowers. Grandpa Joe.
Was that a key change or
Yeah.
something?
Salami flowers.
Salami flowers.
I wonder if the AI voice is getting smarter.
Dude.
Some singing lessons.
It's a little bit of a worry for artists coming up, isn't it? Like when you've got, the Beatles are just being recreated out of AI. You've got that TikTok voice that can sing better than most people.
This is huge. I think we've only got one order of business, and I, for one, I think you guys are too, but I am so pumped to announce the platter off is happening.
Sound the alarm.
And it's not
the alarm.
It's not that far away. The platter off is happening next week on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. This isn't an on-air radio bit. This
No.
is just for the podcasters. It's going to be our first ever live event where if you're in Victoria, we really want you to come down and be a part of the platter off. You get to judge who's got the best platter. If you're interstate, don't worry. I don't know how far we've gotten on this, but we are working on some kind of live streaming element where you can jump on the Alpha Squad and you can be a part of it wherever you are in the country or world.
Also, if you make the trip, if you fly interstate, you will be awarded with a plinth. I think that's fair.
That is completely
absolutely.
fair.
If
Yeah,
you fly
absolutely.
from like Brisbane or something to come to the platter off, you're definitely getting a plinth.
So is it going to be 4 platters on a big long table, and then everyone who comes to the platter off gets to judge them? They can they can pick their favorite, and then we'll put it in a little ballot box. And then obviously once everyone's judged, they can then proceed to eat the platters.
Yeah, so obviously, this all started a while back when I was saying I made quite famous platters,
Yep.
and then Ben was sort of saying, hey, that's not the case. It's funny, I was speaking to a friend of mine, Tash, who was over on the weekend, and she said she was having a bit of a lull listening to us rag on Belle's platter from it was a couple of weeks ago where all this started, and she said she felt bad because everyone was saying that their platters, my platters don't impress them much. And she's like, he really does. She's like, I wish I could have called in to tell you guys how good my platters are.
Oh, Tash's.
Yeah, no. So Tash was saying my platters are so good.
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. And it felt good because I was like, I knew I wasn't crazy.
So this is just you saying that someone backed in that you have a good platter?
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is. It's
Okay.
if anything, it's
we
just,
shall see.
Yeah, it'll all come out in the wash when we
Uh-huh.
have this platter off
So,
next week.
Andy, what are the details?
Yeah.
So it is next Thursday night, so Thursday the 22nd of June.
Yep.
It is at 6:30 p.m. We have booked the community hall.
Which was
Oh my
something that I
God.
really wanted. Because we were saying, should we just do it here at Nova? But I was like, I really want to walk into a community hall. I want to
Yeah.
see a big long table with platters.
normally they have those weird rooms where you open it up and there's lots of chairs stacked up and
Yep.
trestle tables
Yes.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
How do you
and,
book a community? What?
Just went through the count.
Do you have to email them, or was it like a?
No,
you just-
it was like a format to fill out at the City of Port Phillip Council. So it is.
Did you write in the form, we were an off-air podcast
No,
to a
it-
radio show
it
that
is-
we're basically having a platter off?
The title of the event is Ben Lehman Bell's Platter Off.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
It is at the South Melbourne Community Centre, which is number 1. I think it's Ferrars
Oh,
or
yes, yeah.
Place, which is just around the corner from the radio station. We were in Hall 3, which is the smaller of the 2 halls which have tables.
That's fair.
But the middle hall.
Okay, because you've got to I think it's going to be quite humbling, at about 6:38 next Thursday, when Ben, myself, and Andy have spent in excess of $100 on a platter, and Belle's spent around $20.
Yep.
Well, it's
on a-
payday tomorrow,
on a-
so
on a
this is good
how-
timing.
pre-chopped
It's you're
carrot
right.
platter.
It will be very
and then
humbling.
we'll have to
Shut
sit
up.
there and eat it all ourselves. And because I have a fear
no
that
one will come.
I have a fear no one will come.
Yeah.
This is going to be done on an absolute budget because it's not station backed. Like the station isn't getting around this. This is just us doing it with
Yeah.
Bell's cameo money that we gambled and won.
Yeah.
That's what this is being paid
We've
with.
booked a community hall with
So
that money.
what is the
Oh, do we
community
have to
hall?
pay?
Yeah, we've got to pay. Well, why wouldn't? What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like if you book a community hall, it's because like it's council, like you.
No,
like,
you got to pay.
know.
What does it cost to hire the room?
Do
Andy?
we want to have a crack at guessing?
Oh, a couple $100. I'd say for a couple of hours,
200.
$200. Yeah, that seems fair.
So I've got to pay $260, but I think $100 of that is a deposit.
Oh, okay.
So you get it
So
back.
I think it's $160.
All right. Well, no one
Unless
trashed
there's
the
some
room then.
Salami flowers thrown around the room, and then what the hell happened in here?
So we'll have the room set up with a big long table. We'll have the platters numbered. They won't have their names on it, so then you can judge it fairly.
Except mine will be obvious.
Shut
Well,
up, Bill.
I
You always say that. You're always like, because you're playing the victim.
Because-
You're like,
no,
oh, everyone's
because
going to
I
hate
know
mine.
that-
It's going to be a fair.
Can't we all just do a
Verdict.
veggie one and then therefore
No.
it won't.
So
like,
we
no one will
we will we have to we'll have to get someone like I don't know I don't want like
What do you
if
mean?
we can rope in Brody
No,
or
we'll
Tom.
rock up early, put our platters down and number
Yeah,
them.
but like
Well-
if we say because we got to have some sort of system where are people going to put a pencil on a piece of paper and they write what they think is
we'll have a
number
little box.
It'll
But
be
like
valid,
no,
yeah.
no four of us
Oh,
can.
well, the honest is, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, we can all count the votes.
can count the votes.
There's not
Okay.
going to be 400 votes that we're going to have
Yeah,
to go
look,
through.
Yeah.
This is
Liam, there's
true.
going to be like 5 people.
Um,
This is true. I suppose we can tally the votes ourselves.
funny fact, which I learnt this morning, is that we have the venue strictly from 6:30 till 8:30, which includes setup time. So
Oh my God,
we're going to have to quickly
what?
drag the table and drop the platters. I don't think that's a big deal.
I think we say aim for 6:30.
well,
I
if-
think
if
it's
we-
going to take us 2 minutes to set up the
I
damn thing.
think if we have the room from 6:30 to 8:30, we say get there at 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Great,
that
yep.
gives us half an
Yeah.
hour to get in. Because if we get there and people are already there,
We can't
ambitious.
make up
So
letters.
7
and
o'clock.
people see, oh, that's Ben's platter, then they're going to know. So I think we're
Yeah,
going to get there
true,
before everybody
true.
gets there.
7 o'clock at the South Melbourne
Yep.
Community Centre.
And I think
not
that
a
is-
moment sooner.
I think that it gives people ample amount of time to finish work. I
Yep.
know it's sort of tricky Melbourne sometimes with
Oh,
traffic
I
and
think
whatnot. but I
7's
think
pretty good.
Seven, like you could probably ideally get home from work,
Yep.
or maybe you can have a bit of an earlier dinner with some friends and swing on by and load up
Oh,
on
no,
a platter.
save room for platter.
I
Yeah.
was
Do we have
This is
drinks?
I was very. We might bring a
Are
couple
we
of
allowed to drink there
cans
or
of
not?
Coke. No alcohol.
They were very
Wow.
explicit.
We will be doing pat downs of everybody to make sure nobody brings alcohol
I'd
in.
find it so funny if someone snuck like some
You need-
vodka in a Fred
well-
flask or something into.
You need like a liquor license if you start to
Yeah.
introduce alcohol into the.
Should we? I'd be willing to
Community hall.
use some of the cameo money to buy like 1 carton of fizzy drink.
Yes.
And we buy 1 24-can carton of fizzy drink.
And yeah.
The Alpha Squad can vote on what the flavour is, but then once the 24 are gone, that'll be it.
Correct. So I was very excited having booked this and knowing yesterday that we had to platter off. I was chatting with my wife Kelsey about it last night. She made a great point. She said that we should agree on some ground rules before we go into
Yes.
this. So for one, we're all agreed at one board, right? Like
Yeah.
It's a one board platter off.
One platter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
no
Yes.
multiple boards.
Yep.
It's everything fits on one board.
Yep.
It's not
So
a
you just need
grading table.
Big board.
Do we? She made a good point. I think. Do we want to cap it? Do we want to
Well,
say it's
Bell
50
suggested that, and
it's
it was
$50
Yeah.
bucks and
50?
I originally suggested that, remember? And then I think
No, I think Bell suggested that and it was
Yeah.
poo-pooed.
Yeah, I said, can we have a
we
max? And you
said
went, no,
or-
no,
everyone
max.
everyone said no. You just want to do it because you want to scab out on
you want
it.
to save
or
money.
But now
$75 or something like that. That way,
Yes.
it's more than about how you craft the ingredients
Yes.
that you have on the platter,
Correct.
rather than just.
But you said this, Andy, originally to the argument. I'm putting your own argument against you, which
Fair,
I agreed
fair.
with. You said the whole point of a platter is it's an expression of a person's willingness to go above and beyond. So
Yeah.
if you, as a platter presenter, are willing to spend upwards of $300 on a platter, that's it.
Yeah.
That's that host
you guys are on higher
being
wages
generous.
than Andy and I. That's
Well, you're on
unfair.
higher wage
I'm
than
on
me.
a higher one than you. Yes, I think.
Well, I'll be spending my platter out of the cameo money, which I have now.
So what I
I don't
Can we do
think-
100?
what I would say is when you look at the Olympics, how boring is it that they can't be drug cheats? Do you know what I mean? Like if there was no rule in there, like could you imagine if Usain Bolt was allowed to put whatever he wanted in his body? Imagine how fast he'd be running then. That's what I think this platter off has the opportunity. How willing are you to make your platter stand out from the rest? What are you willing to do?
I think a better analogy is, Andy, what's a landlocked country?
Like Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. It's not fair in the Olympics that Kazakhstan has to compete with Australia because obviously we've got way more access to like swimming pools and stuff like that. But we just smoke them all the time. So that's how this platter off to me. It's like, yeah, the world isn't fair, but the winners are winners and losers are losers.
Okay, so if we said one platter, like
Yep.
one board,
One
can it
board.
be a tiered one?
I think that's being cheeky.
Yeah, it's grey.
I think
It's grey
it's
area.
cheeky.
It's grey area for sure.
Yeah, I think if it's connected, like if you can take a platter off another platter, that's two platters. But I think if it's somehow connected, if you bring a tiered platter and it's all welded together, I would allow that.
If it's like a piece of wood that kind of
Yeah,
goes around
yeah.
and makes another one,
That's
then
impressive.
Sure.
Okay.
Are there any other? So free for all.
Are
No
we
spending limit.
Are we going to? If we get there at 6:30, are we all rocking up with our? Well, we'll have
Cool
South
bags
Melbourne
and
Market
stuff.
bags. Belle will have a Coles bag.
Yeah.
Are we rocking up with our bags and assembling there, or are we pre-assembling?
I will probably pre-assemble.
The thing is, Belle buys it as assembled, so it's sort of, you know what I mean? She doesn't need assemble time, so that's
the
probably a
other thing, right?
disadvantage.
Well, I thought we were basing it more off like, okay, everybody has like a brie wheel from Coles, and it's how you present everything as well. But if you guys are going and buying like $20 wheels of cheese
It's all about. It's all.
infused, then that again, that's like
That's what makes a
I'm
good
trying
platter.
to friggin' save. I don't want to be spending like.
Well, that's
50
why when I
bucks on
come
a
to your
piece
house,
of
you always have
cheese.
terrible platters.
That's why people judge
This is
you,
the whole-
Bill.
this is the whole
Because
point.
Time, Liam, and it wasn't because of me.
I can't believe you brought that in. You actually insulted me when you brought that into my home. I was like, what is... You may as well kick my dog across the room.
yeah,
You can ask Sean then.
unbelievable. I imagine I wasn't actually there, but I imagine when Bill rocked up with that gross orange Tupperware, people were like whispering, like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and I wanted to die.
It was laughable.
Oh my
It
god!
was
See that
laughable.
thick carrot? It's like a little bit white because it's like it was cut 4 weeks ago.
Especially like when, you know, in a room by itself, still kind of awful. But when you put it next to
Yeah.
the creme de la creme of platters, you know, I'm like, I was literally like wiping sweat off my forehead just before everyone got there, just like quickly, like, you know, making sure all the table was presented nicely, and then when it was dropped in there, it just sort of you know didn't look right.
I think I know like in my head I've planned out my platter for next week.
Yeah, I'm still in the
Bella's
planning.
staring me so hard.
I'm still in the planning
You
stages.
know that
I think in terms of ground rules, let's reconvene in the next off-air pod. If anyone thinks of any more ground rules, we can lock them in. But
And put the details in Alpha Squad.
put the details in the Alpha
Or like
Squad.
I think.
I think a couple of takeaways. I really want the Alpha Squad to decide what fizzy drink we'll be buying a carton of.
Yep.
That seems fun to me.
Can I put forward creaming soda?
Creaming soda was what I was going to
Cream soda,
say.
like brown creaming soda, maybe even.
Do we just-
I
do we
like
just- do we just lock in
brown
cream-
creaming soda.
Do we
is
just lock in creaming soda?
It's superior by far.
I wouldn't mind a couple of like 1.25 litre snowdrops.
Gala snowdrops.
What's a snowdrop?
I also.
Isn't it- I think it's an SA
It's
thing.
an SA thing. It's kind of
Like a spider?
It's in,
It's like- no,
it's in
it's
the
like-
it's in the sarsaparilla family.
It's sarsaparilla, yeah.
It's a cousin of the sarsaparilla. I just don't want to, with the rules thing, like, I'm okay putting some regulations around things, but I want to leave room for individuality. Like, I don't want to, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I watched that movie Air recently, which is all about, you know, the making of the Air Jordans. And did you know the reason that shoe was so groundbreaking is because there was actually a limit on how much, like, you had to have about 75% of white on the shoe in the NBA at that time to make it regulation. And the guys at Nike said, nah, he's a Bulls player. We're going to put black and red on there, way more than regulation. We're going to pay the $5,000 fine every time Jordan gets on the court.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
cool.
but that's, you know, every now and then
Sorry,
someone
what's
makes...
that got to do with this?
No, what I'm saying
He's
is...
saying he doesn't want to be put in a box, a money box.
So what, you want to put Air Jordans on your platter?
No.
Bill,
You want to pay a fine?
listen to what I'm saying.
No,
No,
I don't
you
get
need
it.
to...
So you're
There
just saying
needs
you
to
want to be
be
able to
room.
spend as much money as you
I'm
want
saying
to do
there needs
whatever.
to be room for a platter to change the game. There needs to be room for that. Also, maybe it could be entertaining to have one person, like, you can take one thing off someone else's platter. Like, could you imagine?
No, because then I would just shotgun prosciutto. You know what I mean?
No. Could you imagine though if you like if everyone had a turn to sabotage one item, if they're like, oh, actually, Andy's cheese looks really good, I will
I thought
remove
this
that,
whole
and
thing
then
was-
you know what I mean? Like you could
No.
make it really interesting, or do we just maybe
I think it's just. I think it's everyone can do whatever they want.
too many arms and legs.
Best platter wins.
I do semi like the idea of doing a draft where we each pick one ingredient that, well, of course, then you'd know whose platter is who. But anyway, yes.
Or I suppose you could pick out like if there was like a death bowl and it had like ingredients written on it, and everyone had to take a turn in picking a thing out, and it could say like no cheese or no, you know what I mean? Like,
Look,
that could be
I reckon this is all like unfolding as it's happening. So I reckon let's sleep on it. Let's take 24, 48 hours to think about the rules. Reconvene in the next off-air podcast. The main takeaway from this is the platter off is happening.
Yes.
Andy, one more time. What are the details?
Yeah, so it's the 22nd of June. It's next Thursday. So next Thursday, the 22nd of June, at 7 p.m, at the South Melbourne Community Centre on number 1 Ferrers Place.
Love it.
South Melbourne, Victoria, Hall 3.
Love it.
We'll all be there.
I'll put that all those details in the Outscore right now.
I
It'd
genuinely
let's make
am.
an event. Can we make a Facebook event?
I know Liam's a bit nervous. I genuinely am excited to see who turns up.
I'm
to this.
kind of keen. Maybe you don't have to do this, but if you want to, how sometimes when there's been an earthquake, I think people mark themselves safe. Maybe in the Alpha Squad, you can put a little emoji with a hand up saying, "I'll be attending," just so we can get some rough snowdrop
Just
numbers.
make a Facebook
Make
event.
an
It's
event.
What it's for.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Put your hand up.
And
No, but you know what happens with Facebook events though?
they get like
500
2,000,
people,
yeah.
500
No,
people
you
say
just
they're
make it a
attending,
closed
and then
event. You
30
make it a
people.
closed
Yeah,
private
but
event.
Liam's saying like everyone will click attending even if they're not.
If you invite everyone,
Well,
Yeah.
that's up to the Alpha Squatter if they're going to sabotage it or not.
And
Any-
also, don't feel bad if you're interstate because, like I said, I haven't worked out the details of this yet, but there will be a live stream element.
You just can't
where
taste the cheese.
Can I leave that with you? 'Cause
I really do the producing stuff, man. I just
Twitch stuff.
even
am I-
if
how am
it's
I
to
gonna-
be honest, even if it's honestly, if
Use my
I
phone.
have to do it, I'll just use my. I don't want to, but I'll use my phone
in my head,
put it on a
it's phone on a
tripod,
tripod.
and it will literally just be pointing at the platters, and you can vote in the comments, and then we can read out the comments in the thing, and you can just be a
Yeah.
part of it that way.
You
Yeah.
BYO your own creamy soda.
and of course, like
No, there'll be no BYOing.
no,
there will be
if
one-
you're live streaming.
Oh, if you're live streaming,
You
yes,
have to
sorry.
BYO.
Sorry, I got
Wow.
angry. I thought people were going to smuggle in their own creaming soda.
yeah, we need to keep we need to keep a lid on this bloody thing because we don't want to pay the soiling fee of $100.
That's a good reason for people to get there on time, because if you get there, if it's, let's say
I'm going to say we're not going to have
let's say
24
let's say
people.
25
First
people.
24.
If you're number 25, there's no creaming soda for
There will
you.
not be 24.
Yeah, this is really exciting. I mean, every time I come up and look at the time, I'm like, gee whiz, we've been talking about platters for 18 minutes, but it always seems like 2 minutes. But,
Yeah, it flies.
Our good friend Scudder has quickly dropped in a bit of audio we might want.
Oh, okay. All right,
Is
here
this
we
some
go.
evidence?
Is this says Ben Weird Laugh?
Yeah, it's Ben Weird Laugh, yeah.
Okay. There's 3.
I haven't heard this, and I don't know what
What's
it
this
is,
context?
It's just saved as Ben Weird Laugh on air.
but Scudder said we might want some audio of Ben's Weird Laugh
Is this
from
from
the
today's
show
show?
this morning, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
great.
This is different business.
Different
Yeah,
business.
this is another order of
Okay.
business.
Yibbida yibbida.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's if something's really funny, then it comes from like deep in my chest.
Diaphragm.
It's
Yeah.
a cough laugh.
It's a cough
like,
laugh,
It's really,
yeah.
yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
another
for
one?
sure. There's a couple, I think.
Yeah.
I think he slowed it down. Hang on.
Thank you, Scudder.
Thanks, Scudder.
Yeah, I tell you
Good
what
boy.
though, like if you ever want Ben to laugh like that, just get a 10-year-old to say yibbida yibbida. Like just get
Yeah.
a 10-year-old to say a Rex Hunt
Yeah.
quote.
Or get Liam to do a Trump impression, and whenever you say "let it go," that
Why do you
tickles
like
me.
that so much?
I don't know why. Just Liam being Trump and saying
It's so,
"let it
it's so
go."
funny, like the behind the scenes of how that works. Like it's literally like we're just
so
sort of
unfunny.
we're obviously like making it up, and then I'm like, I've got nothing. I'll just say China or Lady Gaga. So I'm just like, quick, I'm fumbling here. China,
Yeah.
China.
All right, let's leave it there. I think that was very productive.
Mm-hmm.
Plinth.
Plinth.
Plinth.